Hey everybody, and welcome to Gaming on Board. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at a Mayfair game from about 2 years ago, and that's 5 Points, Gangs of New York. A very raw politics game. So here's the cover. Andrew Stedding. This art on the cover looks awesome. Got the game Gangs of New York from, I believe this is the late 1800s. Looks like 12 and up, approximately 90 minutes, 3 to 5 players by Mayfair Games. There you go. All right. As always, we need to take a look at the back of the box. The back of the box on this one is not the reason I bought it at all. When I looked at this, it didn't look very interesting to me. But when I took it up to the counter at Mayfair Games here in Wilmington, the guy at the counter said it was actually pretty interesting. And guess what? It was on clearance. So, there you go. You got the different cities. See the struggle for political control. Oh, there you go. Mid-19th century. So, yeah. All right. Let's see what's in the box. All right. Let's take a look at the instruction guide. Ages 10 and up. Shows you all the components. That's good. Setup for 3, 4, and 5 players. Headquarters, gameplay, placement. There's some bidding, and I'll talk about that later. I really want to check this one out too at game night. See if we can't get all these played Thursday. End of the placement phase, results, effects, election. You get to place votes. So basically the gangs of New York are manipulating the votes and fighting for control over the different neighborhoods. Here we go. That's awesome. They've got a 4-player game setup diagram, so you can see exactly how it should look after you have the game set up. Should make it much easier to set it up. Variants. Very cool. I had no idea there were variants. Oh, one thing I did notice was on the back of the box, one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and get it, as silly as it sounds, is there are rabble cubes. They're not just regular cubes. They're rabble cubes. So it's like rabble, 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 rabble. All right. Anyways. There's 3 different variants, and then there's manipulation tiles and buildings in the game. So these will show you what each of those different tiles does. All right. So we've got some punch boards here. These are the buildings. Look at that. Pop right out of there. No problem at all. Let you look at some of these. So these will go, some of these buildings will go in different towns. And then you've got these little extra, see if I can get it to focus here. There we go. These are the extra ballot tokens. And then those are the control tokens. Or are they? No, these are the tokens that you bid on. So at the beginning of each round, I think there's 4 of these, and they each have different abilities. So for example, the ones with the 1 and 2 there, +1 vote for all elections in this election phase. So that seems pretty good, because the elections are based on the number of rabble cubes you have in the neighborhood. So I guess that's an automatic to all elections, yeah. So, +1, I think that's the control. Take one control marker of your choice from the supply. And that's an in-game. That's an in-game condition. So when one of these control tile piles runs out, that's the end of that game. So these are the ones you bid on at the beginning of each round. Here's some of the city tiles. So that'll show you which control token to take. These all pop out really well. Pop right out. There's some of the cities. And these are victory point tokens. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. Yeah. So that's a victory point. I believe that's a meat cleaver. So your victory points are meat cleavers. That's pretty crazy. Start player token. These, when you pass, you take the topmost one of these tiles and you get that many rabble cubes from your supply to use in the next round. These are the control tokens that I was talking about. Ooh, this one's not wanting to come out. There we go. So in any one of these piles, there's a pile for each color of cities. If one of these piles runs out, the game ends. Or if you get all of one particular type of token out, the game ends, and I'll show you that. So for some reason, they gave us 2 start player tokens. Or I'm starting to wonder if maybe my copy accidentally had 2 of these punch boards. Because I don't think there's supposed to be 2 7 value rabble tokens either. So can't complain there. Actually, when I did the totem unboxing, I didn't notice until today when me and my son played it, we're missing the 4th player's tokens. So I don't know what to do about that. I guess maybe I can contact Tactic Games if they still exist, and maybe they'll send them to me. I was missing a piece from Vikings on Board. It's actually right there. Vikings on Board. That's made by Blue Orange Games. I was missing a piece from them, and they were nice enough to send me a replacement piece and a bunch of coasters. So that's cool. On my kitchen table, I've got some Blue Orange Vikings on Board glass coasters. All right, here's some more city tiles and some more victory point tiles. Oh, these things. So if you're the first, I can't remember if it's the first or last. I think if you're the last player to pass, you get these 2 election ballot tokens, and it has something to do with the game. If you ain't first, you're last. I want to go fast. All right. So here's some more of these control tiles. And then rabble. These are the rabble cubes. So the way this works is in the game, there's going to be like 17 of these tiles out. And at the end of each round, did I even have 17 punched? No, I don't. There we go. All right, so there we go. So you've got all these out, right? And the way this works is the gist of the game. There's a lot more to it. These rabble cubes represent basically your gang's goons, right? They go out and do your dirty work. And then these are the bosses. So these guys are like, rabble. And these guys are like, just go get it done. Make it happen. So if I was red, one of my actions for the turn would be to put one of my rabble tokens anywhere on the board. Literally, I can just put it anywhere. So he'd be like rabble, 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 rabble. And there would also be some buildings. I don't know if they're randomly placed or what. But, so say I've got these out and I'm playing with yellow and green. Green's got one there, and yellow's got two here. Let's just say I've got two here. So when it comes time for election, I would control this area. I think it's if there's ever a tie, so maybe this is a better example. So if there was a tie there and a tie there, an election would take place here. Whoever wins the election, and the election's based on the number of rabble cubes you have out, plus any bonuses you might have from the previous bidding wars. So, for example, these are up for auction this round. Okay. And let's just say that green got this one during the last bid. So it'd be an election here. He'd play this. So he's got 4 votes here. So green would win this area and put one of his bosses there. Then the 4 adjacent areas, whoever controls those areas gets a control token of that color. So green would get a blue and a yellow, red would get an orange and a green. And like I said, if any of these stacks ever run out, that's the end of the game. Bosses don't count as control, only the rabble cubes. And I can't remember if these, the buildings do stuff during placement maybe. There are 2 random buildings used in each game. The player owning the most rabble in the neighborhood containing a building may use that building's special function at the end of the placement phase. So after everybody's, placed their rabble cubes and then passed, before elections, then they can use these special abilities. So for example, after placement, but before that election took place, this one here what would it do? Where is it? Well, apparently I've picked the only, okay, here it is. So choose a neighborhood and receive a control marker of that color from the pool. So that's pretty powerful. So if I controlled this neighborhood at the end of placement, I would just automatically get a control. And not only do these count as points at the end of the game, if you have full sets, if you have a full set of all 4 colors, it's worth 5 points per set you have, in addition to all of your regular victory points. So anyways, back to this. Like I said, whoever wins the election puts a boss there. Then the 4 adjacent get control counters, and then another election would happen here. So if there's ever a tie, I believe nobody wins, and they both put a boss out there. And then the next time an election would happen, all those bosses go away. Whoever won the election would put a boss there. And the reason that happens is the game can end when either every city has a boss in it, one player has put out all of their bosses, or one of those piles runs out, like I said. So let's see what else is in here that I haven't looked at. Okay, so these are the player aids. And then these are really not needed, but it's cool that they included them. This is kind of where your gang hangs out. So all your rabble people are here. It might be the other way around. Maybe all your bosses are at the headquarters, and then your rabble people are here. So in a game, if I was playing right here, there we go. So I would have my supply over here, right? This is called the burrows. And I would have all my bosses in here and then my rabble cubes here. So remember, these are used for bidding as well. So you can either place one in the city as your action for your turn, and then when it comes back around, you can bid on one of these power-ups. And you always have to bid more. So if yellow wanted to outbid me, they'd be forced to put 3 here or more. But then they're taken away from the rabble cubes that they could put out in cities to take control of those cities. So the bidding's cool because you're not like using currency or victory points or anything. You're taking away from other actions you could do. So yeah, this is the components are fine. You know, they're decent, solid tiles, and these are all wooden pieces. The cubes are fine. It would have been cooler if they were like little gangster looking things. I wouldn't even care if they were plastic little gangsters or something. But it's cool. I understand why they did it. And you get a lot of them. So I can't remember exactly how many. There you go. 5 bosses, 20 rabble cubes. So each person has 20 of those cubes and 5 bosses. These are the election markers you get when you're like the last person to pass, I believe. So anyways, that's 5 points, Gangs of New York. These don't really serve any purpose, but it's still pretty cool, right? It's like a little bar. It's kind of like an upstairs area. Oh, it's a firehouse. Huh. See, the pole goes down into here. I don't know why maybe back in the day, the Gangs of New York hung out in the fire departments. Who knows? But here's the box. So you got a big area here for the rabbling and the bosses, and then your different tiles have a little spot you can reach in and get them, no problem. Yeah, so this is 5 point Gangs of New York. I want to check it out. I want to see how it plays. I've heard it's best with 3, but it plays up to 5. I haven't seen any 2-player variants. So anyway, this has been Gaming on Board. Thanks for watching, and please, if you liked what you saw, please comment at the bottom. Let me know what I can do to improve or what you might like to see. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you would like, go and check out gamingonboard.com. I have links there to my Facebook and Instagram account. I do post to Instagram daily. Anytime me and my son play a game, I'll post pictures or little video clips. And if I'm out and about and I see some interesting games in some places you wouldn't normally see them, I'll also post those. So thanks again.